Hey guys, it's Josh with Cardinal Offroad, and I'm going to show you how to make a custom tie rod for your Jeep. Make sure you guys subscribe, and don't forget to check out my other videos on my Jeep TJ build. So the first step in making a custom drag length and custom tie rod is you need to have your materials. So for tubing I chose 1.5 inch by 1/4 inch wall tubing, and for my Heim joints these are actually from TMR. The biggest thing is you want to make sure you get a decent Heim joint, and that goes for all the Heim joints on your Jeep. Now with these Heim joints they came with misalignment spacers, and I also got the tube adapters with the hex on them just to make it a little easier to tighten that down once everything's set. Now the first step I want to do is I'm going to go do my tie rod. That way I can get my wheels and everything straight, and then we'll do the drag length after that. The first step in figuring out the length of your tie rod is you need to make sure your wheels are straight. Now obviously you might have a little bit of toe once you're all completely done, but you can adjust the Heim joints to that to where you need it to be. So what I've done is I took 2 jack stands and a piece of tubing and laid it across, put it all the way up against the tire. And now I can measure from this wheel to the other side, and then measure the front, measure the front, then measure the back, and see which way it needs to go. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you want to make sure that these are set at the same height, just to make it better as far as measuring, so your measurements are correct. And you also want to make sure that you're measuring from the same distance on both sides from the tire. So you don't want to be measuring 10 inches back here and the other side be 1 inch back, because all that's going to do is make your measurement either longer or shorter depending on how you do it. Once you get the measurement from outside tire to outside tire, next thing you want to do is go ahead and put your Heim joints in the place where they're going to be for your tie rod. Now on these Heim joints, they come with a lot of threads. Some come with more than others. As you can see, you can thread this out pretty far. What you don't want is to leave all these threads. You only need about 1/2 inch just so you can do slight adjustments. Now once you get to 1/2 inch, then what you're going to want to do is measure, and you can kind of see the taper they left for welding. You want to measure from that edge right there all the way across to the other Heim joint, and that'll give you your measurement for your DM tubing. Now the reason you don't want to leave a bunch of threads here is because it's going to make it weaker, as if you would thread it closer up to the jam nut and then you'd have more tubing. But you do want a little bit of threads here, that way you can do your toe in on your tires. When you're doing your measurements, make sure you're measuring this stuff twice. You don't want to end up measuring and be too short on your DOM tubing and then you have to buy a new piece. Also, when you're measuring outside on your tires, front and back, make sure that you double check those numbers. Now on mine it was 88 3/4 in the front, 88 7/8 in the back, which I'm perfectly fine with because I want about an 1/8 inch toe in when I'm completely done. Now, and that's why you want to leave some threads as well. I said about 1/2 inch on each Heim joint. That's going to give you plenty of adjustment if you need to adjust these in or out. The other thing to keep in mind is when you're buying your Heim joints, make sure you're getting a left-handed thread and a right-handed thread. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to adjust your tie rod if you need to. The nice thing, if you do a left hand on one side and right hand on the other, you can just loosen the jam nut, grab your tie rod, and just twist it whichever direction, and it's either going to bring it out or bring it in. Here you can see now I have a nice V around this tube adapter, so I'm going to get plenty of penetration on both the tube adapter and the tubing itself. One thing you want to do before you start welding your Heim joints on is actually take them out of the tube adapters. If you leave them in the tube adapters and you weld this all up, you're going to throw so much heat on these threads, it's going to make it hard to turn it in and out. Also, what I'm going to do is actually just tack it into place, then throw it on the Jeep, make sure everything's in the right spot, and then I'll weld it up. And when I go to weld it up, I'm not going to weld the whole entire thing all at once. I'm going to do about a quarter of a weld, let it cool, do a quarter of a weld, let it cool, and so on and so forth. That way I'm not putting too much heat on these threads, and it's going to make it a lot easier to turn that Heim joint in and out. One thing I wanted to show you why I got the tie rod on, when I was talking about left-handed and right-handed threads on your Heim joints, here's the reason why you want one of each. So my jam nuts are both loose on both sides. I can actually take my hand on the tie rod itself and turn it. And what that's doing is it actually is moving my toe in and out. So it might not seem like that big a deal, but trust me, it is. So make sure when you order your Heim joints, you're getting left-handed threads and right-handed threads. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. And if there's other videos that you guys want me to do or you have questions on, make sure you comment below. Thanks for watching.